Hey everybody, and welcome back to episode 2 of Dark Souls Remastered, the Fox Chat-Thru, Be the Man. I'm Fox with FoxeoGames. If you like these, make sure to subscribe, like the video, leave your comments, follow me on social media, all that jazz. So when last we left off, we defeated the gargoyles. We're trying to bring vitality up to 40, and then we're also going to make sure to continue to repair our spear, because when we use the, what is it, the, this right here, the one-handed R2, it is actually a special attack that drains 20 durability, so it'll be important to keep that up. In order to unlock Sin's Fortress, the next step should be to go tackle Quelaag. We dealt with the Hydra already. We unlocked what's-her-face, Dusk, and all that jazz. And today we're going to be continuing our discussion on the mental point of origin. Am I going the right way? Yes. So, today's drink of choice is hot black coffee, reheated in the microwave. Yes, that's not ideal, but that's what I did. Deal with it, people. This hot black coffee is made from a roast of a Trader Joe's coffee I got. I very, very rarely get anything from Trader Joe's, but they offer shipping online, so if you don't have a Trader Joe's in your area, that's one way to get it. I got the dark blend whole beans. Actually, you know what? Let's go up here, and I grind the beans myself and then send them through a French press, and I find that's the way to get, in my opinion, the freshest coffee. Also, you can get sort of a darker blend of the coffee. It tends to come out stronger when you grind it yourself. So guys, the latest news that popped up on Twitter today, as of the day of the recording of this video, April 28th, 2020, in the middle of the coronavirus scamdemic, is a video where a guy, Lance McDonald, is his username on Twitter, has put together his own patch for Bloodborne that has the game running at 60 FPS on a base PS4, it says. It's either a base PS4 Pro or just a base PS4. Apparently there are some issues with it. Originally it was running the game like at 2 times speed, which is, of course, I mean, you just can't play it that way. That's ridiculous. And then he got it running 60 FPS at normal game speed, I believe, but apparently there's an issue with V-Sync, and so you're getting a lot of screen tearing, which I don't like. Wait, we already defeated this guy, didn't we? Yeah, I think we did. Let me check here in... Yeah, yep. Okay, so we're done with this, actually. On to Quelaag. Good, so that means we don't need to worry about this. This is obviously an Ornstein cosplay playthrough. I'm wearing Ornstein's armor, using his spear, and that's it. We may occasionally make use of a bow, but we'll see. Also, interesting news. A video came out. The video has been taken down by YouTube, not surprisingly. That's why I managed to download it before I knew YouTube would take it down. Of 2 ER doctors talking about... Oh, man, I almost died. Talking about how this, excuse me, COVID-19 coronavirus scamdemic is not the big deal they say it is, and how we actually should not be locking down and quarantining and all this other stuff. It's bad for our immunity, it's bad for our health, it's bad for society, and it's actually going to have a negative effect overall. That's what I've been saying all along. I've been saying that from the earliest days. You know, people often ask me, well, Fox, do you think you're some sort of expert? Are you smarter than the, you know what, let's fight this guy the official way, instead of kicking him off the ledge. Do you think you're smarter than all the experts out there? No, but I don't have the political bias. I don't have any pressure on me to come up with an opinion one way or the other. I am well, so much for fighting him the official correct way. I guess he just decided to roll off on his own. Black coffee, guys. Dark roast. If at all possible, avoid putting any sort of sugar in your coffee. It's just a bad idea. It's not healthy for you. In general, you should be avoiding sugar. Let's see how this goes. Damn. Well, let's... Now I can't take it off without breaking it. I should have really done the research first. I will continue to put some points in equipment load after we hit 40 on Vitality and see if maybe we can get to the point of fast rolling, although I don't know how that's going to look. 38.5. Whatever. Let's do that math real quick while I go down on this elevator. Okay, so our equipment load is 38.5. 131.4 divided by 4. I need to get down to 32.85. That is going to require quite a bit of investment into endurance. But I'm only at 33 endurance, so actually I wouldn't mind investing at least enough to get to 40. That's a good number to be at. I don't know if 40 is the soft cap, but right around 40 is a soft cap for most stats. By soft cap, I mean you really get remarkably decreased benefit at that point, drop-off. What do they call that? There's an official term for it. It's called point of diminishing returns. That's where you get significantly less for your investment. So on the mental point of origin, the whole purpose behind it is to make sure that you are the person that you're essentially doing everything for, living for, acting on behalf of. It's I think the best way to put it is the way that Rollo Tomasi put it in one of his live streams. It's a sort of enlightened self-interest. You realize that there's nothing particularly great about self-sacrifice in the sense that we typically think when it comes to self-sacrificing for women in relationships, particularly a temporary relationship. Like if you just have a little girlfriend on the side or something, or a girlfriend that you've had for a couple months, and suddenly here you are willing to sacrifice everything for someone that's been in your life for just a couple months or even just a year or two. Ultimately, you really want to consider not sacrificing for someone who's been in your life for just a few years. And when I say sacrifice, I don't mean take time of your day or spend a little money, buy them coffee or dinner. No, I mean like, give up your lifelong dreams and ambitions, change careers, change where you live, move away from the place you want to live to some place you don't necessarily want to live just because that's where they want to live. That's the kind of sacrifice I'm talking about, not, oh, well, you spent tonight going out dancing even though you're not a big dancing fan because she likes dancing, or you paid for dinner tonight for her and not just yourself. That's not the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about significant real sacrifice in terms of the direction of your life. That's a very different kind of sacrifice, and a real sacrifice. It's not really a sacrifice to spend a little money on something if it's coming out of your excess. There's a big difference between, Bill Gates donating $1 million. For him, that's nothing. He just bought a $43 million beachfront property during this scamdemic while he's preaching to us about vaccines and whatnot. For him to donate $1 million is nothing, but for the average person to donate $1,000 would be just a massive sacrifice of their finances, like huge sacrifice. So you got to keep things in mind when I talk about sacrifices. I'm talking about what I consider to be a legitimate, real, substantial sacrifice. Oh yeah, there we go. I wonder if that lightning attack has a physical attack component if they get close enough to get hit by the spear as you thrust forward with the lightning shot, or if it's just the lightning shot. I don't know. That'd be interesting to test out. I'm sure somebody has figured that out by now, obviously. I just haven't. I haven't looked into it myself. All right, let's just head straight to the boss. We don't need any of the upgrade materials here, obviously. Oh, shoot. Woo! Forgot about picking up the items that she dropped. Thank goodness they're still here. I thought they would have disappeared by now, given that, I hit the bonfire while they were sitting there. Let's do Rusted Iron Ring. And we're still just medium. Oh, you know what? In the meantime, since I can still medium roll, I can just use other rings other than Havel's. There's actually zero purpose to having Havel's ring on right now because I'm not, it doesn't affect my roll speed. So yeah, there we go. Good news. I can just swap that out for whatever ring du jour I want. So as mental point of origin would be, For whose benefit do you strive, work, and labor? If a major decision comes up in your life, who do you immediately think about as to who it affects? Like, do you think, oh my goodness, okay, how would this affect my wife? How would this affect my kids? How would this affect so-and-so? Your first thought really should be, how would this affect me? Because how it affects you affects your wife and your kids and, you know, anyone else in your life. And also, if you're going in a good direction, if you know where you're going, if you know what you're trying to accomplish, if you believe in the mission that you have for yourself, then you shouldn't be concerned about pursuing that. You shouldn't be concerned about making that a priority. Let's see. I think at this point, yeah, let's do the quarantine ring. Because if you truly believe in your mission, then you should be willing to sacrifice for that. That should be no issue whatsoever. By the way, I think I got some sort of mod installed that puts nipples on Quelaag. We'll see here if it's still there. Yep. I think it's like realistic anatomy or real anatomy or something like that is what it's called. I just can't remember. It's been a while since I've... Got to keep my health up because I don't want to get caught in there when she does one of those nasty area of effect attacks. Alright, here we go. Get some free shots. Oh, shoot. Woo! That area effect isn't as big as I remember it being, which is good. I thought it would have hit me there, but it didn't. Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah. Okay, done. No problem. That wasn't bad at all. Pretty much easy mode there. So one of the big things that I mentioned last time, and this is just such a really common story that I hear all the time. I see this happen a lot. I've seen it happen with coworkers. I've seen it happen with friends. Is they'll get married, and maybe they won't even be married, just be in a long-term relationship, possibly with kids. And the woman, his wife or girlfriend, whatever, decides that she wants to live closer to her mom or parents. And of course, what do? She says they want to live closer, and ultimately they end up going in that direction. And that's not because he wants to do that. He'll often give up a career. He'll often make extreme sacrifice so that he can move closer to her parents or just her mom, because that's what she wants. Not what he wants, that's what she wants. And, you know, it gets to the point where doing what she wants is the most important thing, rather than doing what he wants. We're going to leave that on here, because we might actually do a Quelaag sword playthrough, although I don't know what armor I'd put on that. Let's go ahead and tackle Ceaseless Discharge since we're right here. It won't hurt. We're not going to go all the way down here since we can't. But we'll do things a little bit out of order. No, actually, you know what? Cancel that. We're just going to go straight to Sin's Fortress. I want to make sure we have plenty of time to get to Anor Londo in this episode. I always end up having to do the run back to the bonfire here, because I do want to hit that bonfire down there just so that I can have that as a warp point for the future. So we end up having to either run back to this bonfire and then go up, or just run and then try to go up straight. I usually hit the bonfire just in case I die on the way up. But that is a big no in my book, that story about moving across the country just because she wants to be closer to her mom. And oftentimes it sounds like it's for good reason. Well, my mom is sick, and, you know, well, my mom needs help, or I want the kids to be closer to their grandparents. And usually it's her grandparents, not, or her parents. It's the grandparents on her side, not your side. So what I would suggest is you don't. Now, a good suggestion would be, well, you know, if you want your parents to be closer for these reasons, you should tell them to move closer to us. That is a great thing to say, and watch her reaction to that. Their reaction to that will tell you a lot. You shouldn't upend your entire life for them, especially if her parents are retired, don't work anymore. Then they really don't have these roots that they have to worry about. That would be a much better way to solve that problem. have her parents move closer to you if that's what you want. Of course, that can bring up a lot of issues as well. When mother-in-law wants to try to run the show, there's oftentimes a problem between the girl you're with and her mom, especially when she has kids, because now there's an argument over how to raise kids, and you got to see how she handles that. Some women will placate their mother and then bitch to you about it constantly. Some women will just get angry at their mom and argue and fuss, and it'll be constant point of contention between them. Some will just placate to the mother and just kind of give up part of themselves and not kind of develop their own way of functioning, and that's something that you'll have to encourage her on, is to break away from mom. One of the biggest problems with women is that they often don't understand that, you leave your parents, and when you get married, you're breaking away from the parents. You're not still with them anymore. That was the problem with my ex-wife. She never grew up in that sense. She was always her parents' little girl, and she couldn't break away from that. She felt this need to constantly do what they told her and do things their way, and that's just not a healthy way to function as an adult. There's a difference between when you're a child in a relationship and when you're an adult in a relationship. Children should be children when they're with their parents, and adults should be adults when they're with their parents. It's a funny thing that in English, all versions of English that I know, there is no actual real term for offspring that are adults. You don't say offspring. That sounds so scientific and technical. No one says, how many offspring do you have? We will ask a person, how many kids do you have? Or how many children do you have? They'll say children, even though their children are, 30, 40 years old or older. We say, oh, yeah, I have 3 adult children. Adult children? What kind of term is that? You can't have an adult child. A child is not an adult, and an adult is not a child, right? But we literally say adult children. My children are all grown up. Well, then they're not children, are they? But we still say children, because we don't have a proper term for that. We don't have a term for somebody's kids that have actually grown up. We just refer to them as kids as if they haven't grown up. Because I think in many ways, parents have trouble seeing their kids as grown-ups. I mean, I think it's difficult to go from changing someone's diaper to recognizing them as fully self-sufficient and an expert and someone that knows more than you do. When my son grows up, I'm sure he'll know things that I don't. And, I'll have to get over the fact that once upon a time I changed his diaper and, carried him in my arms. So that's something that a lot of parents struggle with, recognizing that their kids are now adults. Oh, here we go. Some of these items really aren't as relevant. They're just such low soul items that they don't matter as much. Alright, Sin's Fortress, guys. Sin's Fortress. Also, this is a great opportunity for you to show your consistency, your stability during this scamdemic. I call it a scamdemic because it's not an actual pandemic. Stat just came out that Florida has more open ICU beds than they did before this alleged crisis began. That means there are more ICU hospital beds available than before the alleged pandemic began. So it's really not a pandemic if the hospitals are empty, if doctors are being furloughed, if nurses are being furloughed and laid off, if primary care physicians and hospitals are looking at closing down because there's just no business. And then there was a popular video by some doctors I think I talked about it earlier that was taken down. They talked about the negative effects of isolating everybody, or telling them to isolate, them not being exposed to germs and bacteria and viruses, all this stuff, and then suddenly releasing everybody, or even doing it in segments. What's my plan? My plan is this: open everything immediately, no restrictions, no recommendations on masks or gloves. For the average person to wear a mask and gloves throughout the day as they go through the day is actually harmful. It doesn't help them as a general rule. And socially, as a society, it hurts us more than it helps us. You know, you look at like surgical masks, those are meant to be used temporarily in specific circumstances. A surgeon puts on a surgical mask, the cloth ones that, you know, with blue on one side, white on the other is typically how they look. A surgeon will wear that in order not to expel anything into a person that he's operating on or doing some procedure for. So if you're cutting someone open in a surgical room, you want to put the mask on so that you don't accidentally breathe anything into their open cavity, spit, so that none of that comes out into them. The idea there is that you're protecting the person you're operating on or working on or seeing. You're not protecting yourself so much. It's not protecting you from that person. A lot of people are wearing these surgical masks thinking that they're protecting themselves from the virus out there, and that's not how it works. It's really not doing that. I mean, it'll offer something, you know, in the way of protection, possibly, but it's certainly not worth paying for them and wearing them all day. Especially the longer you wear them, the less effective they are, and the more they become a possible possible liability that they can start to carry the virus, be saturated with it, or that you're breathing in a lot more carbon dioxide now, and you're going to be less healthy overall. There's at least one story, I don't know, there's more, of an older gentleman who was wearing the mask in his car by himself because he doesn't know how masks work. That's just not a thing. You don't do that. That's stupid. But he was doing that, and he actually passed out. He probably had some other mitigating factors like COPD or emphysema or whatever, but he passed out from not getting enough oxygen. That and not exposing your immune system to all the viruses and bacteria that you normally experience in the course of a day in society is just going to end up causing more harm than good. I'm in agreement with the ER doctors who are treating this disease, who gave that video presentation before it was pulled by YouTube. What we're doing, the situation we're facing does not merit shutting down society, furloughing doctors and nurses, telling everyone to wear masks and gloves. And you have to remember something. People say, well, you should do what the CDC and the WHO say. Well, the WHO told us that coronavirus wasn't transferred from person to person. That was the original advice. Then the CDC told us not to wear masks. Then they told us to wear masks. Then they said this, and then they said that. Go back and look at how many times these organizations, the federal government, Trump, his administration, the CDC, the WHO, have just done 180s, total 180s. Do this, don't do this. Do this, don't do this. Don't do it, do it. Yes. Oh, actually, it's no. It's up, it's down, it's left, it's right. It's black, it's white. I mean, they're just all over the place, starting to sound like a Katy Perry song. At least I think that's Katy Perry that sang that. It's hot, it's cold. So what you're seeing is what you're seeing. As Rollo Tomasi would say, the medium is the message. Don't look at just what they're saying. Look at not just the content, but the context. When new recommendations, new statements, new claims are being made, you know, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, everything keeps changing. Your workplace is probably changing policies left and right. This place is changing left and right. New policy right now, new policy tomorrow, new policy the next day. This has changed, that has changed. When everything keeps changing constantly over and over and over and over again, and they keep going back on something they previously said, and then they're now going to this, and now say, okay, now you do want to do this, you don't want to do this. That is the message, guys. What is the message of that? What does that tell you? They don't know what they're doing. They don't. So when you do that in your life, when you wiffle waffle back and forth, I just came up with that term. I don't think that's a real term, wiffle waffle. But when you waffle back and forth, when you go yes and no and maybe and I don't know and okay, let's go back to this and let's not, and people know instinctively, they just sense, okay, he doesn't know what he's doing. All right? This back and forth and back and forth and back and forth should tell you they don't know what they're doing. And, you know, I think you truly grow up when you realize that government experts don't know what they're doing. When you realize that government experts are often completely clueless, it's both terrifying and freeing because you realize you're no longer bound to what they say. Well, I mean, in terms of like socially, you no longer feel this intense need to always do what they tell you because you know they're not half as competent as you previously thought. They're just not. And it's sad when you see so many people that think that these are incredibly competent, knowledgeable people that know exactly what they're doing. We should trust them 100%. And, it's just not that way. And you can see that. You can see it in what's happening around you. Just the back and forth, the constant changing. The telling you, okay, we're going to lock down for 2 weeks. Okay, now it's 4 weeks. Now it's the end of the month. Okay, now it's to the end of the next month. Okay, no, well, now we're going longer. Okay, now we're going to extend it even more. Okay, well, actually, now we need to go even longer than that. We don't know. We'll reopen slowly. This stuff can be open, but that stuff can't be open. As the doctor said, who's actually treating COVID-19 patients, why is it that you can go to Costco or Walmart or King Soopers or Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or all these other grocery stores, okay? You can go to all these different grocery stores, Walmart, Target. You can shop around next to dozens, even hundreds of different people, okay? You can go to the Home Depots and the Lowe's. You can go to the pharmacies and all this stuff. There's people all over the place. They're touching stuff. You're touching the stuff that they touched. But you can't go and sit in a coffee shop in the corner and drink a coffee by yourself. There's no data supporting that. There's no science behind that. That's not science. That's stupid. There's no science behind that whatsoever. There's nothing supporting that kind of nonsense. It is just complete lunacy. It really is. And, the fact that someone like me can see that, but all these government experts can't, just goes to show this is hysteria. This is how hysteria takes charge. Nobody wants to sit back and go, wait a minute, guys, all of this is crazy. We need to stop all this. Because that's what we need, somebody to stand up and be like, hey, everybody, this is all crazy. We need to stop doing this. None of this makes any sense. This is dumb. We need to get back to reality and science and actual data. It's kind of like climate change. No matter how many times the climate change models are proven wrong, they constantly insist that they're right. At first it was global warming, and then they couldn't prove that warming was continuously occurring, so they changed it to climate change. That way, even when there's not an actual warming, they can still say it's this thing because, it's climate change, Climate change can cause the world to get colder and sometimes hotter, and so, darn it. That's gonna set me back. I didn't mean to hit that. I thought I had gone to one-handed mode and I was gonna shoot lightning at the guy, but I was still in two-handed mode and attacked right off the ledge. Let's try this again. So now we gotta go through all that all over. So anyway, this is a time for you to show stability, calm, for you to laugh at the stupidity of people panicking over this. Karen is panicking over this. And Karen is sort of a term making fun of the traditional middle-class lady who gets mad about everything, demands the manager, thinks she knows everything, listens to the news media and believes it, goes through the typical, American lifestyle. She's probably divorced with 2 kids, probably 2 different dads. Karen is just the typical annoying middle-class, slightly privileged, arrogant, self-centered woman, basically. Oh my goodness, I almost fell off again right there by accidentally hitting the B button. The B button. Oh, almost fell off right there. Okay. So all the Karens out there are freaking out over this. Karen is the one demanding that you put on your mask and stay 6 feet away from her. And Karen is the one that's getting mad and calling the police because she sees people having parties and not social distancing. That's Karen. Don't be Karen. Don't support Karen. Don't date Karen. If I were on a dating website right now or on a dating platform, I would put I don't date Karens. And that would definitely put off a lot of the women that I wouldn't want to be with. And there we go. Okay, we're making it. This isn't too bad, and I think we should be safe here. There's not going to be a ball rolling down, maybe? So, excuse me, amidst all the Karens panicking, freaking out, demanding everyone wear masks, wearing their masks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wearing their masks to bed, wearing their masks in the car by themselves because they don't know how masks work. Amidst all that, you can laugh at them. You can laugh at the situation because you know it's not serious. Because you know that over 99% of the people are going to experience no significant negative effects from COVID-19. That's just, it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen because you have to have a variety, you have to have at least one serious comorbidity. Like maybe you have HIV that you don't have under control. Maybe you have COPD. Maybe you have emphysema. Speaking of which, excuse me, I get phlegm around this time of year from allergies. You have to have some sort of other condition to cause COVID-19 to really impact you that much. That's true in over 99% of the cases, well over 99. Currently, right now, your chance of dying from COVID-19 in Los Angeles, or I'm sorry, in California, your chance of dying from COVID-19 in California is 0.03% as a general number. Now, granted, if you have HIV, you're really sick, you're 72 years old, you have COPD, you smoked all your life, then your chances are higher, obviously. But, you know, we don't quarantine healthy people who are low risk. We're supposed to quarantine people who are sick or those who are at high risk. All right, we made it back. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. That does not do as much damage as I'd like it to. Okay, I am not going to be able to reliably hit him. And if I try to shoot him from here on this platform, I'll probably fall off, so we're just going to skip that. Our goal now is to get to this bonfire without dying, so we don't have to run back through it all over again. And I guess I picked up my bloodstain. I don't remember doing it, but the number of souls I have indicates I probably did. Don't run or roll off this. You can actually go all the way off that ledge right there and die. I've done it before. It's not fun. It's a real waste of time. Alright, well there we go. We're going to go straight to the boss. There's really nothing else here we need, especially in New Game Plus. So, one of the other indicators, if you are your own mental point of origin, is you're probably, although you're not offended by it, you're neither impressed by, nor do you find them particularly funny when people make those sort of jokes, excuse me, at the expense of men. Excuse me. I probably should edit that stuff out, but it just takes so much time and effort. I'm probably going to leave all that in. But anyway, you'll hear these jokes about, you know, well, gotta ask the wife first, well, I've got to go check with the queen at the house, and, you know, there's all these jokes about how the wife is in charge, the woman is dangerous, she's going to kill me if I do this. I think where a lot of that comes from is men instinctively giving preference to women, men instinctively thinking as the woman in charge, or that she runs the show, or that she is the standard of approval for the guy. And that's where I think you need to really look at yourself and your approach to your relationship. And, you know, and a lot of this would apply to women just the same. Oh, you know what? I just realized I'm not in human form. Dang. Oh, well, we'll try to do this solo. I haven't done this without Tarkus in a long time, but it shouldn't be too hard. Watch me die now that I've said that. A lot of this would apply to women just the same, but we're not here to give an equal and opposite presentation from the female side. When it comes to relationships, you shouldn't use a woman as the standard for yourself. Now, you may think, well, what about, you know, my attractiveness level? Shouldn't I be asking other women how attractive they find me? Not really. I think you can figure that out over time. You really don't want to put a woman above you as judge over you, because that ends up going the wrong direction for everybody. It's hard to describe, but essentially, you want to make sure that a woman is not the standard by which you judge yourself in your life. Because if it is, you're going to be miserable. Because women have this inherent way of always being unhappy and always needing something more. Let me see if I can knock him down by hitting his feet here. There we go. Okay. Oh! It worked. Oh, wait. What? What? I'm gonna get a photo of that. That's just great, you know? That is so lame. Did you guys see that? Of course you saw that. Oh, shoot. I need to get away from this ledge. I can't believe he hasn't hit me yet. There we go. he did a little back roll right off of that. Not sure what that was. Did he actually get caught on that pillar right there? Alright, well that worked out in the end. A little weird. So, when you're your own mental point of origin, you don't make a woman the center of your life. You don't make her the focus. You don't make her the judge and the standard by which you evaluate yourself. So, for example, if you decide you want to wear something and your wife or girlfriend's like, well, I don't like that outfit. That's not like the be-all, end-all that makes you decide, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to wear this. I mean, you may incorporate her opinion into that, but it's not the be-all, end-all. For a lot of guys, it is. If a woman told her husband, well, that shirt doesn't look good on you, he would immediately be like, okay, she says it doesn't look good, it doesn't look good. That's it. Done. Alright, let's level up. 3 more levels, and we can start putting into endurance. And... oh, let's go human for... I don't know why. We'll just do it just because we can. Alright, I have a few more notes here. We talked about this last time, but I think it's a good thing to talk about again. It deserves a lot more emphasis. Do you have this sort of romantic notion of sacrificing for a woman? Like, do you like the idea that you'd take a bullet for your woman and die for her? I think a lot of guys do. I think that's inherent. I think that's pretty much biological. It's like built into men, because in traditional societies, you want to protect the women because they bear the children. So the women were essentially more valuable in that they bore children and continued the species, continued the tribe, or continued the group, whatever that happened to be. Men, of course, dime a dozen. You know, sperm is cheap, eggs are expensive, kind of thing. You know, one man can father countless children, so you don't need that many men, whereas only one woman can have one child at a time. For a total of... whoa, I hit his tail all the way through that. That's crazy. Ooh, okay. Okay, I tried to dodge that and totally failed. But there we go. But, you know, it takes one woman at least 9 months to give birth. So you can see the value in that. Let's go get this Demon Titanite in case we decide to go with another boss weapon at some point. We want to be able to upgrade it without editing our save file and getting banned again. Although the account's probably still banned. Oh, shoot! No! Okay, whew. That was an accident. I thought that used to be 2 Demon Titanite, but maybe they changed it. We ultimately have to get down here anyway to run up this thingy right here. I ended up looking this up the first time I played the game. I don't think I ever would have found this or thought to do this. Although if you see this broken piece there, that might be a clue. Dang, can't get him in one shot. It's always best to be able to one-shot stuff, obviously. So, when you're your own mental point of origin, you don't look to other people to be your judge. Now, granted, in contextual situations they are. In terms of your performance at work, obviously a supervisor or boss is gonna fill that role, whether you want them to or not. But that doesn't mean that you consider your own self-worth based on what that boss thinks of you. That you understand it's just, okay, well, there you go. Oh, I knocked that down. Interesting. Okay, guys. Let's try this again. This is our second time dying by falling. Death by falling. Another example that we talked about last time of mental point of origin and whose standard by which you live is the notion that when a relationship falls apart, how much does it affect you negatively? It's going to affect you negatively. You're going to miss the person, the woman, obviously. You know, no one here is pretending like you're going to go, oh, okay, it doesn't matter at all to me. I was in this relationship for 2.5 years, and she just up and left one day, and I was like, oh, don't care. That's usually not going to happen. I mean, even if you know the relationship should end and it's for the best, it has an effect on you for one reason or another. It's just a massive change in your life, especially if you live together, were married, had kids, whatever. However, a guy who has himself as his mental point of origin is not even going to entertain the notion of suicide over a relationship, or really anything for that matter, but certainly not over a relationship. Another example where this takes place, we talked about, you know, deciding where to go to college based on a woman, deciding, you know, where you live based on what the woman tells you where she wants to live. Well, there's also another one that's big, and this is your career. It's common for, like a woman might say, well, you know, I don't want you doing this specific job because it's dangerous, and I don't feel like, you know, it makes me uncomfortable, and so he'll change jobs, or he'll not follow a career that he wanted. That's something I can't emphasize enough not to do. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And if you look for her approval, what's interesting is, let's say she tells you not to take a certain job, okay? So you don't. Well, let's say this is a long-term girlfriend. 4 months later, you completely change the direction of your life. 4 months later, you guys break up for whatever reason. You break up with her, she breaks up with you, whatever, doesn't matter. She dies in a car accident, she gets sick, doesn't matter. Well, now you've completely changed the direction of your life for someone that's no longer there. Parents see this really easily. Your parents will see it very easily when you're willing to completely change the direction of your life for this new girl that comes into your life that they're like, this girl just showed up, and suddenly you're changing everything. That's something to think about. Do you really want to change everything for someone that just popped up in your life? Let's see if I can... Okay, normally he doesn't get me before landing. Now I gotta get revenge for that. Okay. Here we go again. There we go. Can't use his tail. Got him. Done. Dang. Got 3 items. 3 in one shot. If I hadn't gotten the tail axe, I would have gotten it right there. I would have gotten all 4 items from one gargoyle. That's crazy. Alright, here we go. We're doing it. 44 minutes into this. I think we're going to call it once we hit the Anor Londo bonfire there. Oh, dang it. Thought maybe I could outrun that. It's harder for me to dodge with this medium roll because I'm not as comfortable with the medium roll. I'm just not. But at least I got a little more stamina from the Chloranthy ring. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is risky. Oh, I knew. Oh. Dang. Gotta do this before I get shot in the back. Woo. Alright, let's see how this goes. Still could get shot in the back. Here we go. Oh, we're probably gonna make it as long as I don't fall off up here. Okay, we should be good. Gonna wait for this guy to stop shooting. So, 2 episodes on the middle point of origin. I think we kind of talked about it before in terms of the episodes on frame, but it's a slightly different focus. You just have to remember where you start, where your thought process starts. And it is amazing for how many guys that their thought process starts with somebody else, not themselves. And we talked about before, we're not just talking about a wife or long-term girlfriend or girlfriend. We're talking about we're talking about possibly a mother, a guy putting his mom as number one, doing what his mom wants him to do. This is really common in other cultures, not so much in the U.S., although it's common there, but it's a lot more common in other cultures where you're supposed to continue to live with your parents until you get married, and where you're supposed to have a lot more familial responsibility. All right, we did it, guys. I really don't feel like... Yeah, I could almost have enough time to get to Ornstein and Smo by taking the short route through here, but I don't think I want to do that in this episode. Yeah, that should be enough for another level. 38, not bad. Let's repair everything up. Let's just open up the shortcut. How about that? We'll open the shortcut, and that'll help us get ever closer to our goal. These are the guys I really practiced parrying with in the early days. Okay, good. One parry and one shot. I don't know why that guy back there took 2 shots. Oh, I remember. It's because I was one-handing the weapon when I did the R1. Okay. For those that don't know, this is a really easy shortcut. I think everyone knows by now, but if you don't, now you know. Don't know if FromSoft intended it to be a shortcut, but it is. And they've never bothered to fix it, so they either don't care or intended it. There we go. Alright guys, like I said, coronavirus is a perfect time to show stability, to show calm, to show concern for data and science over hysteria and craziness. There's obviously a lot of hysteria. There's a lot of, what's the word I want to use? There's a lot of misinformation, disinformation. There's a lot of panic that's influencing the way people are behaving, the way people are looking at this situation. And the way to get around that is just to research and do all the data. Like, look at how lockdowns and quarantines do not correlate with lower infection rates or death rates. Look at how countries that did no lockdown are doing just as well, if not better, or around about the same as countries that had strict lockdowns. Look at how people are amassing in groups in certain areas and not others, and that just doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't go to the beach and be dozens of feet apart from everybody because that's banned in that area, but you can go to the grocery store and Walmart and Target and the gas station. You can go there and be within a couple feet of dozens and dozens of different people. And like I said, there's no science behind that. It makes no sense. And if you have yourself as your mental point of origin, you're going to get out there and want to do what you want to do. So you're going to speak out against these government overlords and say, you know what? No, I don't want to be told that I can't do this. I don't want to be told that I can't get a haircut, but I can go to Walmart. I don't want to be told that I can't go to the beach, but I can go inside the gas station and get a pack of cigarettes. You know, I don't want to be told that, no, I can't go to church on Sunday morning, but I can shop through Walmart all day long, and I can go to the weed store and buy marijuana where it's legal. You know, just this kind of nonsense stuff. Anyway, I'm Fox with FoxeoGames. I thank you guys for joining me for the second episode of the Be the Man series on Mental Point of Origin. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, leave them below. I do read them all and try to respond when I can, or at least hit the like or thumbs up or something on it, you know. Make sure to follow me on social media. Twitter is where I'm most active. Links are in the description. Subscribe here. You can hit the notification bell icon. Select all if you always want to be notified when I upload a new video. I'm uploading a new video soon in my new series, reviewing my Steam library, where I try to go through and do a short review. Take a look at every single game I have in my Steam library. So I will see you guys next time. As always, have a good one, and later.